Hello, this is Johnny Chisholm, and I want to welcome you to this module on integrating the environmental evaluation into the conservation planning process. The entire module consists of several videos. This is part one of this module. I recommend that you proceed through the videos in order. At the end of this module, you will be able to use 9 steps to guide a decision maker through the conservation planning process. You will be able to document events, activities, actions, and decisions in the assistance notes and the environmental evaluation. You will be able to use resource assessment tools to assess resource conditions and document them on the environmental evaluation. Let's review the 9-step planning process. The planning process used by NRCS is a 3-phase, 9-step process. In phase 1, which is collection and analysis, or understanding the problems and opportunities, we have the first 4 steps. Identify problems and opportunities, determine objectives, inventory resources, and analyze resource data. In phase 2, which is decision support or understanding the solutions, we have steps 5 through 7, where we will formulate alternatives, evaluate those alternatives, and the client will make decisions. In phase 3, which is application and evaluation or understanding the results, we have steps 8 and 9. The client will implement the plan, and we and the client may need to evaluate the plan. Although the 9 steps are shown in sequence, the process is very dynamic. The process could start with any of the first 3 steps or even step 9. Cycling back to previous steps is often necessary. For example, step 1 and 2 may not be finalized until step 4 is completed. Also, some planning activities may overlap planning steps, and some activities may not necessarily occur in a particular planning step each time. Here is the scenario we will use for this module. A producer, John A. Smith, comes into your office and wants some help. He operates a farm with some cropland, about 260 acres, and a soybean and corn rotation. He mentions that the yields on his cropland have been dropping, and he uses a conventional tillage system. He wants to continue producing crops, but would be open to making some changes to improve yields. The farm has been in his family for 3 generations, but if his productivity does not improve, he is not sure how long he can continue to farm. He would like to one day leave the farm to his grandson, and would like to leave it in the best condition possible. You ask him for the location of the farm, and he gives you the FSA farm and tract number and the legal description. You ask for his contact information, and he gives you his address, home and cell phone numbers, and his email address. You make arrangements to visit his farm next week and give him your business card. As soon as Mr. Smith leaves the office, you pull out a blank NRCS CPA 6 or Assistance Notes form and record the client's contact information, the client's objective, the information that he told you, the details of your meeting dates, and you place the notes in a file folder to begin the customer's case file. At this point, you have started the first 2 planning steps. In step 1, which is identify problems, he mentioned a problem: reduce productivity on cropland. You may also identify other problems when you conduct resource inventories. In step 2, which is determine producer objectives, he mentioned that he would like increased productivity on his cropland and wants to improve the farm for future generations. Let's look at some pre-planning activities. One tool that we use is Customer Service Toolkit. You open Customer Service Toolkit and search for a customer folder for John A. Smith. There is no folder for that customer, so you create a new customer folder for Mr. Smith. You open the customer folder and decide to enter the assistance notes from your hard copy CPA 6 into Toolkit. In Customer Service Toolkit, you open a map document and add the latest orthophotography, topographic image, and the Farm Service Agency's Common Land Unit or CLU layer to the document. You use the CLU layer and tract information to create an Area of Interest or AOI. You notice there are no land units in the active Plan Land Unit layer for the tract. You create Plan Land Units from the CLU and tract. Fields 1, 2, and 3 are the cropland fields, so you attribute them as such. You notice that in addition to the 260 acres of cropland, Mr. Smith has a 1.4 acre headquarters. You attribute that field as Field 4. You print copies of maps that show the fields for your resource inventory, with the orthophotography and topo images as backgrounds. In Customer Service Toolkit, you can also review soils information, so you add the soils layer to the map document and use the Soils Inventory button to create a soils report and a soil map of the farm. You use Soil Data Viewer to create Map Unit Description Report and a report and map for the prime farmland, where you determine all the soils are classified as prime farmland. You create a report and a map for the erosion T factor, where you determine all of the soils have a T of 5. You create a yield report for corn and soybeans by map unit and a hydric soils report where you determine there are no hydric soils on the farm. Then you print the soils map and all of the maps created with SDV or Soil Data Viewer. Since your state has data layers available for cultural resources and endangered and threatened species, you add those layers to your map document. You determine that cultural resources may be present and the farm is within the possible habitat of an endangered bat species. From the aerial imagery, you determine that there is a stream between fields 1 and 2, and by visual interpretation, there is a possibility of some bank erosion. LiDAR is available for your area, so you add the hillshade layer to your map. From visual interpretation, you review the stream bank condition and also notice several gullies that have formed where concentrated flow enters the stream from the cropland fields. You print a map of the fields with the hillshade background. You check an EPA website and determine that there are no non-attainment areas in the vicinity of the planting area. You check the state's 303D listed streams and discover there is a listed stream nearby with sediment as a pollutant of concern. You review the files for wetland determinations and find none for the planting area. No soils are hydric, so wetlands will probably not be an issue. However, you check the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service National Wetland Inventory and the stream is listed as a riverine wetland. You check the files in your office and find an HEL determination where all of the cropland fields are determined to be not highly erodible. You check field office information in FOTG and find that the farm lies in a designated nutrient surplus area. You check FEMA maps and determine that parts of fields 1 and 2 lie within the 100-year floodplain. You check the National River Inventory and discover that streams near the planting area flow into a national wild and scenic river. You record all the information you have gathered so far in the assistance notes. Pause the video to review the notes in further detail. In the next video in this module, I will demonstrate using an electronic CPA 52 to record the following that we have gathered so far: the client's name and contact information, the client's objectives, the land unit information. We will select the applicable land uses and document the need for action on the CPA 52. I will also demonstrate documenting CPA 52 benchmarks. Here's what we know so far. For the Clean Air Act, there are no non-attainment areas in the vicinity. For the Clean Water Act, there is a stream that may be considered waters of the U.S., and there is a 303D listed stream nearby. For prime farmland, prime farmland soils are present. For the cultural resources may be present on the benchmark. For the endangered and threatened species, E and T habitat may be present. For floodplain management, part of the farm lies in the 100-year floodplain. For wild and scenic rivers, the farm lies in the watershed of a national wild and scenic river. For wetlands, there are no hydric soils present, but the stream is a riverine wetland according to the National Wetland Inventory. And there are no coral reefs or coastal zone management areas present. That concludes this video in this module. So proceed with the Part 2 video in this module for the demonstration of the Environmental Evaluation Planning tool.